What if I told you the most dangerous battles you'll ever fight are invisible? Not with swords, not with armies, but inside your own mind, between your impulses and your reason, between the voice that wants comfort and the one that demands growth. And here's the twist. Those who master this inner war aren't just calm, they're unstoppable. The Stoics knew this, and their thinking wasn't just philosophy, it was a strategy for life. The Stoics weren't quiet, fragile dreamers hiding from reality. They were leaders, soldiers, exiles, and thinkers who lived through plagues, betrayals, and the collapse of entire empires. And yet, they walked through it all with a strange, unshakable calm. Not because the world was easy for them, but because they had a plan. Stoic thinking is not about staying calm for the sake of it. It's about positioning yourself in life so that no storm, not loss, not failure, not death, can throw you off course. It's not passive acceptance, it's active strategy. Today, we're going to explore 12 Stoic strategies, each one building on the last, until by the end, you'll see how they weave together into a mindset so strong that chaos simply can't break it. Now define your battlefield. Every war begins with knowing the terrain. Most people live as if the whole world is their battlefield. They fight for every opinion, every outcome, every scrap of recognition. They drain themselves chasing control over strangers, over the past, over events half a world away. The Stoics refused to waste energy like that. They drew an invisible line in their minds. On one side, the things they could control, on the other, the things they couldn't. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, faced constant threats, political rivals, wars, and plagues, but he fought only the battles that were his to fight. When you define your battlefield, something changes. You stop trying to win every war, and you start winning the ones that matter. And that leads directly to the Stoics' greatest weapon. Consider this: control is your greatest weapon. Epictetus said it best: we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Think about that. Every reaction you have is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. The Stoic trains for that moment, so when chaos hits, they don't panic, they decide. You can take almost everything from a person, but if they still control their response, you haven't beaten them. And that leads us to an uncomfortable truth most people avoid. The real question is, who's really in charge of you? If you can be provoked, you can be controlled. If someone cuts you off in traffic and ruins your day, you just handed them your mind for free. The Stoics practiced the art of the pause, the moment between impulse and action. That pause is like a general's war council. It's where you decide the next move instead of letting your emotions do it for you. And once you master that pause, something unexpected happens. Your enemies start becoming your teachers. Imagine this: your enemy is your teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoics didn't just deal with obstacles, they used them. An opponent forces you to think sharper. A setback forces you to build endurance. A betrayal forces you to strengthen your trust in yourself. If you reframe your obstacles as training grounds, life stops being an endless series of problems and becomes a constant opportunity for growth. But this also reveals another surprising truth about victory. But here's the twist: victory doesn't always look like winning. The world teaches us that winning means being first, being richest, being loudest. The Stoics thought differently. Victory means staying true to your principles, even when it costs you. If you lose the battle but keep your honor, you've won something the other side can't take: self-respect. And once you stop needing the world to validate you, fortune itself becomes less important. Think about it: fortune is a dangerous ally. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." But the Stoics also knew luck is unstable. It can turn on you in a heartbeat. If you let fortune dictate your happiness, you'll be a slave to its moods. The Stoic strategy is to prepare for the bad while enjoying the good, so that when the storm comes, you don't fall apart. And that preparation often begins in a place most people overlook. Time to look deeper. Your greatest strength is invisibility. The Stoics rarely announce their intentions, their plans, or their emotions. Why? because the less people know, the harder it is for them to interfere. Power that doesn't draw attention can move freely. Like a shadow on the battlefield, it can strike or retreat without warning. This isn't about paranoia, it's about control over when and how you reveal your moves. But to keep that control, you need one thing above all else: discipline. Without discipline, every other strategy collapses. The Stoics trained daily, mentally and physically, so they could hold the line when life tested them. They practiced discomfort, fasted, trained in the cold, rehearsed loss, so when those things came in reality, they weren't unprepared. This wasn't self-punishment, it was sharpening the blade before the fight. And one of the main areas they applied this discipline: understanding emotion. From a higher perspective, emotion is intelligence's shadow. Marcus Aurelius warned against being a puppet jerked by the strings of desire. The Stoics didn't see emotion as the enemy, they saw it as information. Anger can signal injustice, fear can reveal danger, but they refused to act blindly on those signals. Instead, they asked, what does this feeling mean, and what's the smartest move I can make with it? That's why their emotions didn't rule them. They ruled their emotions. And one way they did this was through a powerful mental exercise. True strength lies in preparing for the worst. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. They imagined losing what they valued: wealth, status, even life itself, not to depress themselves, but to train for it. If you've already faced the loss in your mind, you're less shaken when it happens in reality. This makes you resilient, yes, but it also does something else. It frees you from fear and unhealthy desire altogether. Beyond desire and fear lies freedom. Epictetus taught that the man who needs nothing cannot be threatened. When you don't fear losing and you're not desperate to gain, you move through life like a free person. You can still want things, still enjoy them, but they don't own you. This kind of freedom changes how you see your time on Earth. You stop obsessing over short-term wins and start thinking about something much bigger. What remains is your legacy. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." The Stoics knew that every action plants a seed. Some seeds will sprout in your lifetime, others long after you're gone. They measured success not in applause but in the mark they left on the world. When you live with Stoic strategy, your life becomes more than a series of events. It becomes a message, and that message can echo far beyond your final day. The Stoics didn't just think, they acted with precision. They weren't immune to hardship, but they made hardship serve them. They didn't try to control the world, they mastered themselves. That's the power of Stoic strategy. It doesn't make life easy. It makes you strong enough to face it all. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the like button. It's a small click that makes a big difference. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom, and right now there's another video on your screen that will take you even deeper into this way of thinking. Go watch it next. Until next time, and as always, stay Stoic.